Je défie qu'on me montre ici un spectacle valable, et valable dans le sens suprême du théâtre. Une image lancée provoque son ébranlement dans l'organisme, pose sur lui une empreinte qui ne s'effacera plus. In 1981, the theater committee staged an adaptation of Edgar Allan Poe's tale of grotesquerie, The Fall of the House of Usher. Benjy Young wrote a script using Poe's narrative and Artaud's exhortations, published nearly 100 years after Poe. In the 1930s, Antonin Artaud had uniquely embraced Poe's characters, who spoke to both his own condition of madness and that of humanity's. The production, illegally produced, of course, featured an on-stage lake and an entrance by one character on a flying coffin. And, at the climax, the audience gasped as the actors collapsed into an underground crevasse beneath the stage, which was the original factory crane bay.
I know not how it was, but with the first glimpse of this building, a sense of insufferable gloom pervaded my spirit. I looked upon the scene before me, upon a mere house and the simple landscape features of the domain, with an utter depression of soul, which I could compare to no earthly sensation more properly than to the after-dream of the reveler upon opium. The bitter lapse into everyday life, the hideous dropping off of the veil. The house of Usher, a title which seemed to include in the minds of the peasantry who used it both the family and the family mansion. What was it? What was it that so unnerved me in the contemplation of this house of Usher? It was a mystery all itself, nor could I grapple with the shadowy fancies that crowded upon me as I pondered. Was it possible that a mere different arrangement of the particulars of the scene, of the details of the picture, would be sufficient to modify or perhaps annihilate its capacity for sorrowful impression? Acting upon this idea, I looked into the black and lurid tarn that lay in unruffled luster by the dwelling, and with a shudder even more thrilling than before, upon the remodeled and inverted images of the tree stem, upon long and elaborate windows. I had so worked upon my imagination as to actually believe that about the whole mansion and domain there hung about an atmosphere peculiar to themselves and their immediate vicinity. An atmosphere which had no affinity in the air of heaven, but which had reeked up from the decayed tree and the silent walls and the sullen tarn. Pestilent and mystic vapor, dull, sluggish, faintly discernible, leaden hue. Shaking off from my spirit what must have been a dream, I scanned more narrowly the real aspects of the building. Its principal features seemed to be that of an excessive antiquity. Minute fungi overspread the whole exterior, hanging in a fine tangled webwork from the eaves. Perhaps the eye of a scrutinizing observer might have noticed a barely perceptible fissure, which extending from the roof made its way down the wall in a zigzag direction until it became lost in the silent waters of the tarn.
responding this morning. Maybe if you tried to talk to her.
Words rock the unconscious summons of the brain. All the words for any kind of mental operation, and especially those operations which affect the most habitual, active responses of the mind.
A great fervor, conscious and teeming, pours my soul like a filled
in the limb.
A carnal and resonant wind is blowing, and even the
muscles
summer
twisted as if playing a sense of.
And tiny rootlets fill this wind like a network of
A sense
veins.
of black.
And their intersections flash.
Fear.
And space is pleasurable
And a recoil from
raging. But without form. And the center is a mosaic of explosion.
A will perpetually strained
Like
to make the simplest gesture.
Cosmic hammer of distorted
Static and central fatigue.
like
Sort of
through
a
space.
sort of a gasping
With a
fatigue.
sound which seems distilled.
A painful exhibition of the nervous system.
Rapping of the sound as the dull
An internal fracturing in the
and immediacy of
in the
living
skull.
space. Yes, Robert! Space is yielding up its full mental padding, in which no thought is kept clear or has replenished its load of
a
objects.
sharp pressure
And little
of the nerves, the nape of the
the
neck,
mass is turning
straining after its own pain,
like a slimy and powerful
Temple.
nausea.
turning to glass or marble, a head trampled by a horse.
Influx of blood, vegetal and thundering, and the tiny rootlets that are trembling at the corners of my mind's eye are beginning to detach themselves with vertiginous speed from the wind contracted mass. And all of space is trembling like a vagina, pillaged by the globe, the burning sky.
I don't make many claims in this world, but I do claim to be myself a man, much as the master of Usher. If I don't have his character in my bones, then no one in this world does, because I am his physical and psychological embodiment. I'm not saying that I'm interested in being Roderick Usher. I'm saying that I am Usher! So.
Yes?
Good afternoon. Is the master of the house in, Robert Usher, I believe?
Yes? Who are you?
Veronica Bakeville, sales representative for Bakeville Steel BioSeal Protective Caskets. Oh, my card.
Won't you please come in? Please wait in the master's study.
Thank you.
Sir,
What?
there's a strange but refined woman at the door. She's all dressed in black. And she just... a Miss Bakeville from some kind of company. I didn't know what to do, sir.
Madelen, we know Miss Bakeville from some kind of a company.
She's in your study, sir. We haven't had a visitor since Mr. Howard.
Roderick Usher? How nice to meet you. I've heard of your ancient family. I too come from a family that's been in the area for generations. Pioneers in the funeral industry, with emphasis on quality and protection. How tall are you? You're not over 5'11", I think.
Well, it wouldn't be for me, but my sister, Madelen, she's dying from a unexplainable disorder. It's a nervous affliction. A constitutional family evil. We have despaired to ever find a remedy, really. It's a nervous affliction which displays itself in a host of unnatural sensations.
Oh, may I see her?
No.
Well, then allow me to show you the top of the line from our master craftsman at Fayetteville.
She'll take it.
Excellent. We accept.
No, but I mean, she'll take this one now, Miss.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir. This is my personal casket. I didn't possibly.
You mean it's not for sale? But you just sold it to me.
The books, sir. I can have them delivered within.
You mean I can't have it?
Well, fine. I can't. Oh no, this is my personal.
Show Miss Mason.
So. Well, if you'll arrange for me to spend the night, I'll have another pick me up in the morning.
Certainly. Prepare a room for Miss Baker.
A room?
She'll be spending the evening here with us. Madelen's casket, my pipe, please.
Madelen's.
Do you smoke opium, Miss?
Well, as a matter of fact, it was just like coming down off opium to see this mansion from over the western ridge. Besides, the fat midget smoked up all my yard.
We are born rotten. In body and soul, Miss Baker, we're congenitally maladjusted. Do away with opium, you will not do away with the need for crime, the cancers in the soul, the propensity for despair, inborn cretinism, hereditary syphilis. You will not eliminate the fact that there are souls who are predestined for the use of poison in whatever form this, the poison of lonely. The poison of morphine. Or overeducation, or onanism. Or the poison of sexual overindulgence. The congenital weakness of the soul, Miss Mayfield. The poison of alcohol, or the poison of tobacco, or the poison of...
The poison of anti-sociability.
Yeah.
Well, there are souls that are lost and incurable to the rest of society. Deprive them of one means of folly, they will invent 10,000 others.
So
they will create wilder and subtler methods that are absolutely desperate.
So long as we have failed to eliminate the causes of human despair, we do not have the right to try to eliminate those means by which a man tries to cleanse himself of despair.
The lost are lost by nature.
And their ideas of moral regeneration will make absolutely no difference.
There is an innate determinism. Well, there is an undeniable incurability in suicide, crime, idiocy, madness.
There is an invincible couple-dealing man.
There is a congenital weakness of the character, the castration of the mind.
Aphasia exists.
Locomotor ataxia exists.
Syphilitic meningitis.
Theft, usurpation.
Heavens of this world, and we are unhappy escapees, destined to eternally reenact our escape.
Yes! Lucid madmen, spastics, cancer patients, chronic meningitis cases, nuclear contaminants. Destroy yourselves rather than be stoned. There is no solace for you in this world. The world lives on rotting flesh.
that death is suicide. Personally, I am terribly bored with being alive, and I shall necessarily quit this life. For not only has the very axle tree of life been faked and displaced, but there can be no axis in this miasma of shit drizzle, one whiff of which weighs on the place that human beings call spleen.
To the vault!
We had partially turned aside the yet unsealed lid of the casket and looked upon the face of the tenant. Usher had murmured out so few words from which I learned they were twins, and that sympathies of a scarcely intelligible nature had always existed between them. Our glance, however, had rested not long upon the dead, for we could not regard her unharmed. The disease which had thus entombed the lady in the maturity of beauty had left, as in all maladies of a strictly cataleptic character, the mockery of a faint blush upon the bosom of the cheek, and that suspiciously lingering smile, which is so terrible.
Listen, now why don't you take this bait there and take her over there and show Mr. Allen, okay?
There were times that night when I thought his unceasingly agitated mind was laboring with some oppressive secret, to divulge the which he struggled for the necessary courage. It was no wonder that his condition terrified, that it infected me. There were times I felt creeping upon me, by slow yet certain degrees, the wild influences of his own fantastic yet impressive superstitions. It was especially upon retiring to bed late in the night after placing Madelen within the vault that I experienced the full power of such feelings.